Welcome to ZakDTV, the place for interesting news from around the net. Today's episode, we're going to do this a little bit differently. I want to take a look at Cassini. But before we get into that, I just want to mention SpaceX released a very interesting video called How Not to Land an Orbital Rocket Booster. I'll put a link to it down in the description. It's a blooper reel basically of all their best crashes. So if you want to see millions of dollars worth of rockets blow up, check that out. But watch my video first. So Cassini. We lost this craft this morning at 7:55 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And this is the final image that we have from this amazing little spacecraft. Cassini first launched October 15th of 1997, nearly 20 whole years ago. And after 2 Venus flybys, a flyby of Earth and the Moon, a nice look at Jupiter, and 7 years worth of deep space flight, Cassini arrived at Saturn. This, of course, was a huge feat for humanity. We had successfully sent a probe screaming into our outer solar system, and on that probe it also carried the Huygens probe. This was a probe designed by the ESA to be dropped on the moon Titan. And finally, after a 2.5-hour descent on January 14th of 2005, Huygens probe landed on Titan. And for the next 72 minutes, it scienced the heck out of Titan. It also has the distinction of being the first and only probe landed on a body in our outer solar system. This is the furthest away from home we've ever landed a craft. And it looks like it'll have that distinction for a long time to come. And while that probe is a big deal, that wasn't the end of the information that we received from this team over the next 12 years. Aside from sending back stunning photos like this, it also found liquid water on Saturn's moon Enceladus, found new rings around Saturn, found liquid lakes on Titan, and even found a handful of new moons that we didn't know about. All that was done in the first mission of Cassini. Originally, this probe was slotted for a 4-year mission, but then it got its first extension in 2008. During this extended mission, Cassini made its closest pass to Enceladus. If I'm saying that wrong, correct me in the comments down below. And while this first mission focused mainly on Saturn's moons, Cassini got its second extension in 2010, and that's the one that brought it up to current. During this extension, it also found oxygen on the moon Dione. Took this amazing photo looking back at Earth from Saturn. Got the best information we have on Saturn's hexagon. And back in April, it received its directions to make its first dive between Saturn and its rings. 22 orbits later bring us to this, the final day of Cassini's life before it burns up in Saturn's atmosphere. All in all, Cassini has traveled more than 4.9 billion miles since its launch, collected over 635 gig worth of scientific data, discovered 6 more moons around Saturn, did 162 flybys of Saturn's moons, took over 450,000 images, and completed 294 orbits of this alien world, and expanded our understanding of one of the coolest planets in our solar system. And yes, at this moment, pieces of this probe are probably still raining down on Saturn. We are currently planning several more missions to this planet. NASA stated they currently have about a dozen proposals for missions to Saturn and its moons. And according to Kurt Nyber of NASA headquarters, right now we are on track for making 3-ish teams very, very happy just in time for Christmas. So of course, when these missions get announced, I will keep you up to date on it. But for right now, let's just keep a fond memory of one of the greatest human endeavors ever. That's the Cassini space probe. And that is going to wrap it up for me. Thanks for stopping in. If you like this episode, make sure to click that like button and maybe even subscribe if you want more interesting news like this 7 days a week. So until next time, you guys have fun and be safe.